Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Alan speaking, and today I'm going to talk about my EFL students' English learning experience analysis. So let's get into it. So this is a table of contents. Okay, so for introduction, first I want to talk about my project focus. Okay, so this project is to learn about EFL students' English learning experience and analyze factors of success or failures. So with that being said, let's talk about our object. So the first one is his nickname is Pierce, and at age 20, male, and he is a Hakka Malaysian who is come from middle class in Malay. And the second object will be Michael, and she is female at age 21, and she's Hoklo Taiwanese who is come from middle class in Xinbei. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into the analysis. First, let's talk about our object one, Pierce. And here is Pierce's English learning profile. And in the learning profile, I'm going to analyze it through 5 categories, from people and environment, economics, attitude, and personality. For Pierce, he lived in an English-friendly environment where people takes English as their daily necessity. And thanks to multicultural in Malay, people have to learn English speaking to communicate with others. Secondly, he came from a middle class that didn't have to worry about money when he talked about English learning. And third, his attitude towards English is optimistic, and he considers English a steady life. Therefore, he likes to learn English by really applying them in life. His personality also helps him a lot in acquiring English. He's an outgoing person that loves to interact with others significantly, especially with different cultural backgrounds. In learning style, Pierce loves to acquire English in daily conversations and online videos. Also, when he was reading an article, he prefers to focus on a larger part of it. When he encounters the words he didn't understand, he will skip them and try to get the meaning by guessing in the paragraph. And as for learning experience, he said that from kindergarten, he started to learn English. Other learning progress is similar to Taiwan. And now I'm about to share his learning story. Throughout his learning progress, he hasn't met obstacles that really bother him. And however, 3 major experiences enhance his self-esteem, from translation, correction, to communication. Okay, so now I'm going to share 3 major stories about Pierce's English learning experience. So the first story is about translation. So Pierce is a foreign student from Malay, and in his dorm, some of his roommates lack Chinese speaking ability. Therefore, when they need a translator, Pierce will volunteer to help those students. So by doing so, he learns the tips for translation and gains the courage to speak in English. And the next story is about correction. So recently, Pierce's father was working on his master's thesis, and since his father isn't good at English writing, he was checking the grammar of the paper for his father. Thus, he feels great for doing something that can help his parents. The third story is about communication. Okay, although basketball is Pierce's favorite sport, making friends on the basketball court is the main reason why he loves it. By communicating with teammates off the court, he can make a lot of friends and learn about different cultures. Meanwhile, improve his English ability through interaction with them. So that's the whole story about Pierce's English learning experience. So next, I'm going to talk about Michael's learning experience. So I'm going to examine Michael's English learning experience through her learning profile. And in people environments, she lived under a English-friendly environment. But apart from peers environment, people in Taiwan are relatively shy of speaking English. And in academic issue, she didn't have problem with money when it talks about English learning. And attitude, she learns English for the test only instead of really want to apply them in her daily life. And because of her restless mind, English for her serves as a tool that she can reach out to find some news and interesting ideas on the internet. Okay, so for learning experience, from kindergarten she started to learn English, and until elementary school she loved English very much because she had a lot
learning
of
style. She loves to learn English
through
two
different ways.
Okay.
The first is
But until high school and
handout.
senior high school,
She only read
studying
articles
English started to become a stress that
if
she had to
the
face every
professor
single
asked
day.
her
So
to. And for
she
music and sitcom, she loves to watch a
doesn't
lot
feel
of
that she loves
famous
English
sitcom
anymore.
and learn
And until
from,
college, she
characters'
considered
daily
it as a tool
conversation
instead of a subject.
Okay, so and for next, I'm going to share her learning story, and this learning story of Michael's is the failure in listening class. The story has 4 stages, from poor performance and couldn't live with it, and practice and redeem fame. And let's get into the story. Okay, so for learning story for her, the first is poor performance, and Michael got a terrible grade in the midterm in listening class. And although other classmates didn't perform well in the test either, she was frustrated and barely accepted her grade. And after that, she couldn't live with her grade. Therefore, she decided to ask how the others prepare for the test. And eventually, her classmate told her that she could practice the exam from 6 minutes from BBC World News. So she tried to prepare for the listening test and listened to the 6 minutes English from BBC podcast when she was going to the class. And eventually, Michael got an excellent grade in the final. And although the final was a lot easier than the midterm, she was satisfied with her performance and the effort she made. Okay, so in sum, I think what I really learned from this research is that learning English is holistic. Just like what we learned and what we read from this semester, is that there are so many factors that can influence people's language acquiring, from people, environment, economic, attitude, personality, or even learning styles. So there are so many factors that sometimes teachers will never know. So I think as an EFL English teacher in the future, I think what we should do is to really understand and analyze students' background and try to provide them an efficient and suitable learning program for them. And here is a very important quote from Peter Wilberg. The teacher's primary responsibility is responsibility. So there are too many kinds of students that has different features that sometimes sometimes teacher like us, we never know. So what we can do is try to understand, analysis, and provide our teaching program, and also try to read as much as possible, just like what we learned from this second language acquisition class. So I think it is what I learned from this research. Thank you.